Have you ever been through someone stabbing you in the back? I'm not talking about it literally. Now, if you've been through someone literally stabbing you in the back and you are alive, praise God you are alive. Learn from that situation that happened so that some things can never happen again. But for most people, being stabbed in the back means they've been let down or they've been taken advantage of. And they haven't been let down by someone that's strange because strangers can't really let you down that easily. Why? Because you're not involved with them. So the effect on you will not be that big. Or maybe you were set up. People turned on you. Maybe it's your parents that turned on you. Maybe one of your own children. Or maybe your spouse. Or maybe one of your exes was after you. Or maybe at work. I don't know who it is. A lot of people ask the question, why do bad things happen to good people? Good people simply means people who have a good attitude in life. They're not into harming themselves nor other people. They just want to move forward. And they're willing to be at harmony with others and themselves. Those are good people. Now, everyone in this world grew up with some dysfunction. So when I talk about good people, I'm not talking about people without any dysfunction. Now, to encounter someone who's fully renewed in their mind without any dysfunction, those people do exist, but they are rare because many believers aren't even renewed in their mind. Jesus says, be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. Perfect here means being fully functional as a human being as God intended it to be. Now, the majority of human beings on earth are not there. Many will never get there because they're reprobate. So, if you want to be at harmony with yourself and other people, and you are truly interested in long term solutions, then I'm talking about you. You may ask yourself why those unnecessary bad things kept happening to you. Now, there are various reasons why bad things often happen to good people. I've talked about them on this channel. But it really comes down to two things: unexamined expectations, or let me say like this: you have ways of behaving or ways of thinking that don't benefit you and you're not aware of it. And because of that, you end up in bad situations that you could have avoided. That's one. And the second is the people around you enable dysfunction and harm. Those are two reasons. Now, look, that the people around you enable harm and dysfunction, that's not your fault. That's not on you. You're not responsible for that. And it's not much you can do about them being neglectful. You can't go into their brain or go into their mind as a spirit being and shift things around. No. What you can do, however, and what you should do is never neglect yourself. Now, am I claiming you're neglecting yourself on purpose? No. However, there are some attitudes, some ways of thinking we grew up with or that society taught to us, of which we are convinced those are good ways to navigate through life, but really it's dysfunction. That's why Jesus says, make sure that the light in you is not darkness. What Jesus meant was there are times you're convinced you're going the right way, you're convinced you're doing what should be done, but really you're dysfunctional and you're putting yourself and those around you in harm's way. Does it mean you are an evil individual? Does it mean you're a bad person? No. It simply means that there's something about you that needs to be rectified. And others may attack you for it because they just want relief. God is not attacking you, neither am I attacking you. I'm here to assist you and to teach you so that you are transformed and renewed. So you may ask, Rashid, what is the thing that good people are doing wrong that leads to them being victimized over and over again? You ready for it? This one thing: they don't check the timing. Now you may ask, Rashid, what does timing has to do with people victimizing you over and over again? Hold on, hold on, hold on. First of all, check my videos and live streams about the topic of timing and paranormal deadlines if you haven't. I'm not going to repeat everything here, but let me tell you one thing. Most good people out there, they never examine the timing in their life. Okay, let me give an illustration to you. Jennifer. Jennifer is working at Starbucks. She's also in college and she's going through exams right now, so it's quite stressful. During this time, she meets two other women. They're also in college and they also have work. So they bond together. They form a small friendship. All three graduate and they all got jobs and they all have boyfriends. And then one day, Jennifer gets a call and it's from the police. And the police tells her that she needs to come to the station because they need to talk to her about some criminal investigation. So she goes, and there the police confronts her with the fact that she's being suspected of money laundering. And she said, "What? Money laundering? I don't know nothing about that." And then the police show her two pictures. And she said, "Well, those are two friends of mine." The police corrects her, "No, no, 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 lady. Those are not friends of yours. You are a friend towards them. They just played you." These two women are in the late 30s. These two women are well-known con artists. Look at this. These are their passports, birth certificates. The police showed her all the proof. And the police tells her those times that you that you lent money to those women because they had to repair their refrigerator or the car broke down, whatever. All that money that you sent was used for importing drugs, or it was used to purchase plane tickets for human traffickers. They weren't just doing to you, they were doing to multiple people. One time, you let one of those women use your bank account so that her salary could come there. That wasn't a salary, that was just money they got from human trafficking. Didn't you think it was weird that with her job experience, she got paid 5,000 euros a month suddenly? Then Jennifer says, "Yeah, I thought it was weird, but she told me, well, she just had a bonus, all of that. So I had no reason to doubt her." Now, look, in this fictive story I'm telling you now, what did Jennifer do wrong? Jennifer was Jennifer is no reprobate, she's not wicked, and she's not into making excuses for herself. What did she do wrong? She did not check the timing. When did she meet those women? In Starbucks while she was working. And she's been working Starbucks for over a year. So she had a regular schedule. So she would be there every Monday till Wednesday and also on Saturdays. And during exam periods, students tend to be more exhausted. And because they're more exhausted, their discernment goes down. Their guard is more down because they're stressed out, they're distracted by everything expected of them. They both have exams they need to prepare for and they have the part-time job. Jennifer was at her weakest. And it's when she was at her weakest, because she was in a transition of completing her exams, it was then that those two con artists approached her. And what do you know? They were quite similar to her. And because Jennifer had this need to connect with people who had a similar experience, which is human, because as human beings she has this emotional tendency to want to relate to people to go through similar difficulties, they use that. and they graduated at the same time as Jennifer also. So everything was so in line, so in tune. Everything was too perfect. If Jennifer would have reflected a little bit and realized, 2 weeks ago I met those two women. We're going through the same situation as me. Okay, but how come no other student approached me? There are more students around here, but none of them approached me, uh, talking to me to find out if I'm a student too, whatever. If she would just reflect a little bit, she may not have figured out that they were con artists. She would realize the timing is suspicious. Now, let's give another example. You have Robert. Robert gets a phone call. His cousin is in need. He is at some highway and he's in a bad shape. So Robert goes and picks up his cousin. He's in good terms with his cousin, and while driving the cousin home, suddenly the cousin puts a gun to his head and thinks, whoa, whoa, whoa. And then other guys come and rob the car and Robert's wallet. Now, Robert had no idea his cousin was involved with gangs and all that other stuff. Oh, but look at this. When did this incident occur? It occurred just 2 days after Robert got his salary. And if you look at the past, every end of the month, when Robert received his salary, around 2 or 3 days later, his cousin would call him. The cousin would not call him any other time in the month, only in the days after he got his salary. So Robert became familiar with his cousin calling him right after having his salary. Now Robert didn't even notice this. And Robert would have excuses saying, well, we're both adults, we are working, so of course we don't have time to catch up. When we have our salary, we can go to a pub, whatever. Robert did not pay attention to the timing. If he would have paid attention to the timing, he would have noticed a pattern. But because he didn't check the timing, he got familiar with the pattern. That's why after 2 years, the cousin made the move. And the cousin knew that Robert had this lease car that was worth over $60,000. And, and his cousin figured out if we rob this car, we can sell it for a lot of money on the black market. So the cousin of Robert waited till the right moment to make his move. And because Robert was on good terms with the cousin and Robert was familiar with catching up with him after getting his salary, Robert didn't even notice that something was off. And he got robbed. Now he's in trouble. Now, in both of the examples I've used, the individuals, both Jennifer and Robert, they're both good people. They're not paranoid, always looking for the wrong in people, whatever. They're not stupid either. They wouldn't just believe any story someone tells them. But here's the thing. Their liability was they did not look at the bigger picture. And one way to look at the bigger picture is to check the timing. They did not do that. Others noticed that Jennifer was kind of changing in her behavior since she met those two women. Others also noticed that every beginning of the month, Robert would be a bit anxious or exhausted. That was the negative effect this cousin had on Robert. Because that cousin carries negativity with him, and this negativity affected Robert, and Robert was not even aware of it. Others were. But now, the community did not intervene. by saying, hey, Jennifer, lately I see you kind of change. The Jennifer will say, change? How change? And then people could talk to her about it. And then Jennifer could realize, you know what? You're kind of right. Since I met those two women, and then Jennifer realized, whoa. She would stop, think, okay, since I met those two women, I kind of became different. What's going on here? Or the community would say, Robert, how come every beginning of the month you're a bit anxious like that? I mean, is someone bothering you or whatever? And then Robert can think, wait, at the end of each month I meet my cousin, and the week afterwards I'm anxious. Before my cousin came to call me, I never had this. That's what I mean. Yes, good people often don't check the context, which is an error on their part. Which I'm not going to point the finger at them and condemn them. We should be raised with this knowledge, but not everyone is. But the environment, the community around them, do notice something, but they are neglectful. And that's why it's important to be selective with the people you have around you. Now look, you can't control who lives in your neighborhood because other people have jobs, they rent houses, all that. I'm not talking about you controlling the whole neighborhood. I'm talking about the people that are close to you, people that are able to reach out to you. Not reach out to you, people able to contact you through social media or uh, through your mobile phone, or they can visit you at your house. Be selective of those who are close to you. Those in close proximity to you, be selective of those who are there. Because if you have people in close proximity to you who are neglectful, you're in bad company. And things can never work out well for you if you are in bad company. As simple as that. Apart from that, always check the timing. Make it a habit to reflect on your day and reflect on uh, the that period of your life every day. Every day before you go to bed, before you go to sleep, take a deep breath, go walk outside a little bit, and just reflect on the day. Reflect on what happened past week. Just reflect daily. Make it a habit. When you reflect on a daily basis and you do your fasting and praying, you begin to notice things. However, let me say it like this. When you do this and you notice things, you have to deal with the things you notice also. So if you notice that your mom only calls you when she's complaining, but when you call her, she seldom picks up, now you need to admit, why is mom acting that way? Now you may notice that there may be some narcissistic effect on the part of your mom. Okay, if that's the case, how painful it is, you need to face it. What's going on? Or if you notice that lately people around you have been quite friendly towards you, and you realize that before they were not friendly at all, now you need to ask yourself, why these people suddenly became so friendly towards me? What is going on? Look, too often, bad things, unnecessary bad things happen to good people. Some of those bad things are fatal, so those good people end up dying for their time. Why? Because they don't check the timing. And here's the sad part. Evildoers check the timing. That's why evildoers not always but often get away with what they do. Evildoers realize how vulnerable they are as a human being. And they know that even with demonic aid from the paranormal, there is only a little bit of leverage they have. Because evildoers have zero safety and they know it. So they have to be cautious of their surroundings. They have to be in front of the people that get close to them. Or else they can easily be set up, because just like they are taking advantage of other people, other evil people can take advantage of them too. And they, as evil people themselves, they know that other evil people have no limits of where they will go. Now, I'm not praising evil people over here. I'm just pointing out to you, those on the dark side, they do check the timing. That's why they often escape just before the police come to arrest them. That's why they often get away when they commit crimes, whether it's rape, murder, or whatever. Because they check the timing and they know when to get out of a situation. Think about scam artists and con artists. I'm not saying that every con artist, every scam artist is an evil individual, even though they are involved in evil. Again, not everyone involved in evil is evil, but they're still doing evil. But anyway, let's say you have a scam artist. The scam artist has a time frame in which he can get away with things. Because as a human being, the longer a situation lasts, the more you're going to reflect on it. You develop a tendency to reflect on things if they take long. That's why scam artists, they want to get things done quickly. So a scam artist will put psychological pressure on you to choose. And once you choose in their favor, that's how they swindle you out of your money and then they're gone. A con artist wants you to be part of a political party. Why? Because the con artist is using that political party as a front for other things, like money laundering or human trafficking, sex trafficking, or organ harvesting, whatever. So a group of con artists may start a political party and now they need members to make the party look legitimate. So they will trick people to be part of their political party so that people think that that political party will achieve something for them, while the opposite is true. A con artist knows that you have to pressure and trick people as soon as possible because the human brain is intelligent. Not every human being acts in an intelligent way, but the human brain is intelligent. Your brain will pick up oddities about someone. And con artists, they are odd, no matter how good they act. No matter if they are a professional actor, your brain will pick up oddities. And the more oddities your brain picks up, the more likely you are to awaken. And con artists don't want you to awaken. That's why con artists wants to love bomb you and trick you as soon as possible, and then they keep breadcrumbing you with future faking. So faking good outcomes will never come. That's common in politics. So the con artist, as well as scam artists, as well as evil people in general, they know that timing matters. Unfortunately, the majority of the human population, they do not realize this, including believers. I can understand when you have good people, but they're unbelievers, so they're not born again, that they fall for a lot of stuff. But how come there are believers who have the goodness himself, the Holy Spirit in them? How come believers keep falling for tragedy so often? Because even many believers never, ever check the timing. Timing matters. Now, this is not an excuse to be vindictive, to be suspicious, to be paranoid, and all of that. No, this is just natural and common sense. Check the timing. The best way to figure out whether or not someone has an ulterior motive or a hidden agenda is to check the timing of when they operate. A perpetrator will never approach you when you are at your strongest. A perpetrator will wait like a ferocious wolf. He or she will wait to check you out when you have your vulnerable moments. And once they notice a cycle or a pattern or something common about you that makes it able for them to predict when you will be at your most vulnerable, it's then they will calculate when you are at your most vulnerable and then they will make their move. So predators know timing matters. If the timing is off, it will not work. That is why many corporations, they target the youth with their advertisement. Why? Someone that's 20 years old is more likely to fall for some product than someone that's 30 years old. For let's say you make a commercial for, let me say, let's say you make a commercial for a car and you put all those sexy models around it. Someone that's 20 who just a few years ago got his driver's license and who likely either got some savings from his parents or he has a full-time job, he is more likely to be tricked into purchasing that car or leasing that car. Why? Because he still thinks that the world has something to offer. But someone that's 30, who's now paying off student loans or who's been through breakups in sexual relationships or who has buried relatives that pass away, someone that's 30 has been through more in life. So if someone is 30 and sees a commercial, they'll pick up quickly. Why are you putting all those sexy females around the car? It's not like when you purchase a car, you get all those sexy females. No, I'm not saying that there are no people of age 20 who don't see through this. They are. But in general, it's easier to trick someone around age 20 than it is to trick someone that's older than 25. That's why there are even jobs that you cannot get after you're 25. Many companies, corporations offer jobs to people below age 25. Why? Because if you're older than 25, you will notice things about the company or corporation that don't add up, and you're more likely to leave or you're more likely to open your mouth. If you just came out of college, age 21 or 22, and they offered you a full-time job with many gadgets and benefits, hey, you're in on it because you think, hey, if I work full-time, means I can go on expensive holidays, I can live the life. You take it. If later on you figure out, oh dear, something's wrong with this corporation, they're corrupting, it's going on over here, hey, you already invest in the corporation. You've been sharing with your friends and family that you work, that you have a full-time job, but you're stable. Or you may be married now and you may have children at all. You may have had children past years and you need to feed the children. So because now you're stuck with responsibilities like paying rent, paying bills, looking after your children, or pleasing your spouse, because you have those responsibilities and obligations, and you're invested also in that company as being a source to meet your obligations, now you're more likely to keep your mouth shut, to not make things worse for you. But if you're looking for a job and you're 30 or 35, you'll notice things much quicker. So even corporations and companies know that timing matters. If someone goes missing, or whether it's a child or an adult, especially if it's a child, someone that's a minor, the police knows the first few hours of the investigation are the most important. If there's a crime scene, you need to go there as soon as possible before the weather affects the crime scene. Every profession in the world knows that timing matters. Yet, a lot of people out there, including good people, of which a portion are believers, they do not realize this. And it is because they were not raised to notice this. Most people are raised to just give in to the expectations of society and to make sure nobody's bothered by them. That's how they were raised. Make sure nobody's bothered by you, so just give in to what people want from you. Don't cause any trouble and people won't trouble you. Don't bother people and people won't bother you. That's how many people are raised. And they think that by always making sure they never bother anyone else or that nobody's upset with them, that they're doing a good thing. No, that's codependency. That's toxic people pleasing. There's nothing wrong with people pleasing. People pleasing is healthy and natural. But toxic people pleasing, so pleasing people because you're afraid that or else something bad's going to happen to you, that is something you need to get out of. And a lot of people are influenced by this toxic people pleasing because it's praised and endorsed by society, even by many churches. That's why you even have so many believers who are deceived. Check the timing. Timing matters. Keep on with Christ and be at peace.